Hi everyone, welcome back to the Behind the Brand podcast. My name is Curtis and I have a fabulous new guest with me, no stranger again to the studio. She's been on once before on the lovely Gemma's Hype podcast. We have April from Regain Studio. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you very much for coming along.
You're welcome.
It's nice to have you as a guest as well. So, and this is your first time doing the video podcast as well.
Yes, I'm a wee bit worn.
You'll not even notice that they're on, to be fair. Just don't look to your right eye, bombastic side eye. Don't be watching it. So Gemma, April, what we do here is we find out all about your business as well. We've had a brief discussion kind of off camera, so I want to find out everything about your business because everybody listening and watching this needs to know about Regain Studio. All right, we need to get people through the door 100% and get into these amazing things that you're doing that you're going to talk about later on.
Yeah.
So if you could even give me an introduction as to who you are and what is it that you actually do. What is Regain Studio?
Regain Studio is a space where we lift weights, we empower women, we make them feel badass, and we work from the inside out as well. In a couple of sentences, that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it.
That
there
is
you
it.
go. It's a badass woman. I like
badass.
that. How did your studio even come about? Like how did you start it? Like what was the reason behind it?
So the reason why I started Regain was off the back of lockdown. So I was getting made redundant from my job that I'd been in for 6 years.
Right, okay.
I used to run restaurants prior to that.
In the local area in Paisley?
No, in the city centre.
Right, okay.
So basically, we went into lockdown and I was getting made redundant. So I had already been weightlifting for 5 years. I started weightlifting at 25 and it transformed my life. And I was like, I think I'm meant to be doing this. So I had always been working in restaurants and never gave myself time to figure out where I was going in life, what I wanted. I felt like the job that I was in was just to make ends meet.
Just one of the ones that you kind of fell into, like, how many times you've been on a job and you just kind of get to that point and you're like, why am I even here?
Yeah.
Like, obviously you're paying your money, like you're getting your money and you're paying mortgages, paying bills and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're like, is this really what I want to do?
Yeah.
And I think that's quite good that you've noticed that. You've then went on this massive journey and then somehow Regain came out of it.
So the way that I kind of view Regain is that I kind of found myself in lockdown. I think it was a blessing that my company was shutting down because I'd have stayed in that job because whenever I've worked in somewhere, I've always wanted to work my way right up, right? I was front house staff and then a supervisor, then an assistant manager. I'm like, I need to get to the next, this proving myself. And I had worked my way right up and I was general manager. My general manager she was on maternity. So the place, I was a boss at that point.
So you run the ship?
I was running the ship at that point. Salary was good. I was a young girl. Mortgage was getting paid. Car was getting paid. But I was stuck because I was always there so much and working so many hours. It never gave me time to think. What do I actually want to do? What's my purpose? So lockdown gave me that time to think about my purpose.
It's because your enjoyment as well. Like I can imagine there's probably long days where you're like, I'm just not enjoying what I'm doing, and you start to find yourself, especially like kind of around about the kind of age of 25 and stuff like that. I think you start to realise what's important, what's not, especially like mortgages and things like that. Like 100%. I've got my bills to pay. Like even I'm the same. I'm like, because this is only recently new. This whole podcast studio was so new, but I was in jobs and stuff and I'm just like, this isn't what I'm meant to do. I'm not meant to be sitting behind a desk, which is ironic because I do sit behind a desk now and record podcasts for a living, but it's one of the ones where I was like, I need to elevate who I am as a person. And I'm like, this isn't what I'm made for. Like, meant to be creative and stuff like that. And you've obviously found your passion in fitness.
Yeah.
And whether it be weightlifting, you obviously discussed the kind of services and stuff that you offer in just a wee second, but you've found something that just makes you feel happy.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it obviously still makes you feel happy.
It does. The way that I see it is I would get to serve. So I love service, right? That's what hospitality is. I love serving people, make them happy, I love the hospitality industry, but I wasn't fulfilled. My spirit wasn't ignited. So when I was 25, started lifting weights. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm like, what am I going to do? And people were asking me in lockdown, are you a PT? Because I was always working out. I changed my spare bedroom into a gym.
Oh, nice.
In lockdown. So people were asking me, was I a PT? And I'm like, no, but I think I should become one. So I started studying in lockdown, lectures online, and I studied and was still working that full-time job. Eat Out to Help Out happened, and they sent me down to Leeds to work my notice because I said I'm leaving, I'm going to become a personal trainer. I was getting made redundant in 24 hours before my redundancy was due.
They sent you down to Leeds?
My payout, yep, because England was opened and Scotland wasn't.
That's right, they got to open up before us, didn't they? Aye.
So they sent me to Leeds to work my notice, and 24 hours before I was meant to come home, they offered me back my job and said the restaurant wasn't closing. So I never ever got my redundancy money.
Seriously?
So I had to make a call. I've said I'm leaving. Am I going to keep going with my vision? Because, I mean, see, when I say I was studying for this personal training course, like, I was in lecture after lecture. I was getting up at 5 a.m. every morning, you know, gratitude list, reading. I was reading self-development books. I was, see that 5 a.m. hustle you see on Instagram? That was me.
That was you,
that
real
was
life.
Me. But it was because I knew I had a dream. And how was I going to make that happen? So I still had to work full-time in the restaurant to finance my house at the time until I built up my PT. And they said, listen, your restaurant's going to reopen in Glasgow. We're reopening it. Your job's still there. And I was like, well, I've just qualified as a personal trainer, paid thousands of pounds for my course.
I know you're telling me.
Yeah, and now you're telling me my job's still there.
But surely enough, you must have been glad, though. In a sense, now looking back, probably.
I'm so grateful that I followed my gut instinct.
It obviously didn't sound like it was for you, like that kind of hospitality business and stuff like that. And I think, like, as I say, I briefly know you from Gemma's podcast, and I know you from your social media and stuff like that. But the change that you're making to women's lives and things like that, and what you're doing, and even you as a person, like you discussed it last time, how you were at one stage and how you are now as a person. Like it's just you've regained a wee bit of yourself there. It's like that.
100. Oh, I really like that.
I was thinking that the whole time.
That was good.
Thinking that the whole time.
But do you know what? That is, so my logo is wings. And it says AH in the middle of it. And Regain, I've actually done like a video on my Instagram, and I tell you my story. You know, I was insecure. I was overweight. I was Mrs. Partygoer. At the age of 25, I was pretty much rock bottom. You know, and the first thing that saved me, and I'll say the first thing, was weightlifting and getting myself a coach. I got a coach at 25. It helped me start to like myself.
It's amazing just watching you. Like I would never think that. Would never think that you were. I would just imagine you were always that type of person. Yeah. But it's amazing just how. Congrats on your obviously so far. Thank as you. Well, and Thank as well like your journey's only just beginning as well. I think as well. Like ignore COVID. Yeah. You know I mean that's happened and stuff like that. Like now that every day is a new day as well. And I think, like as I say, like I just mentioned it there, like the change that you're making to women's lives and things like that as well, just absolutely amazing. Because obviously Gemma, that comes in, records a podcast here, she's one of your kind of clients as such. You know, I mean, you two work together as well, and she just speaks so highly of everything that you do. And I mean, she constantly, I think she just references you and everything. To be fair, just how amazing you are. To be fair, like she's your like number one fan.
I'm the same with her. I'm honestly the same with her, and I'm a massive believer in you need to watch your company. Yeah. You need to watch your company, and I don't say that lightly. I mean, do you know what? I've probably been the bad company at times in my life, you know, when I've not been in a good place, but and that doesn't come from a hierarchy kind of place. It just means see where I'm going now and where I'm heading, and I want people around about me that are loving and understanding and compassionate, and what I try and show my girls now, especially in Regain, that absolutely none of us are perfect. No girl, no male on Instagram is perfect, but they'll try and perceive themselves to be. And the thing that I am trying to do to the utmost of my ability is show that I'm a human being. I'm human. I make mistakes. You know, I can get judgy. I can be critical. You know, I can be resentful. I can be angry. But every single day, I try my best to not be that person.
I like that. A bit of self-development there as well.
100%, because I've had to develop a lot.
I love that. Just love it. Just it's so empowering, like as well, and it's very like the motivation behind it as well is obviously very encouraging. I think to women as well. Like I've had a couple of people in that have a lot of like female-based clients and stuff like that. So was that the kind of main thing you thought was like you obviously wanted to empower other women? Like was that the whole reason for starting it as well? Like was it always just going to be a female-led gym, or was it going to? Did you think like I'll just open something up and I'll be a one-to-one with everybody?
No. Never. It was never my vision. I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like, to smell like, to feel like.
I love that. To smell like.
Listen, see, when I say I'm manifested, right, and people don't believe. So, listen, if you're a believer, you're a believer. If you're not, you're not. I sat with pen and paper and I visualised how I wanted it to look, what colours I wanted it to be, how it smelled, how people felt when they were in it, how did I feel. And I used to run through that in my head and in my mind as if I already had it. I made that happen. I imprinted that in my head before it had even happened. And I did not want a man near it.
I love that. As a man, I love that.
I just didn't. Because do you know what? I don't know how a man feels. I don't. I'm massive on emotions and feelings. And I think human beings are driven by that. And I know for me anyway, when I was on my fitness journey, I had a male coach. I lost my dad when I was getting PT'd off this guy. And I know you're not going through a therapy session, but he couldn't understand what I was going through.
Okay.
He couldn't. I was overeating. I was eating chocolate. I was eating desserts. I was turning to alcohol. When my dad passed away and I was going through pain, emotional pain, he could not lean into me. So I was paying him to train me, and the guy done a great job at that. I am not putting this male down.
Yep,
he done great with me. However, I seen a gap from being a client who was trained off a male, see everything that I didn't like, and there was amazing things that I really liked as well. I brought it all together. So the gaps was the emotional conversations, talking about periods, talking about sex, talking about pregnancy, openly. I've had females, you know, doing squat jumps and peeing themselves in my studio. Doesn't bother me. You know, they laugh about it. Females coming on their periods. How awkward would you feel if that was a male and that was your PT?
Oh, listen, 100%.
Awkward as hell.
100%. I don't think because I couldn't answer any of the questions, and I couldn't give any advice on it because I've never lived that, and it's amazing like hearing that, and that's something I wouldn't think about, and I'm like you've totally made it made sense to me. And I'm like that's why these places have to exist.
Yeah, listen, there is amazing male coaches out there with empathy and compassion and understanding. I get it. I felt awkward sometimes in front of my male PT. Even recently, I went to a facility and it was all male PTs, and I didn't like how male dominant it was. I felt uncomfortable because I had things happening with me personally, and appointments and hospital appointments, and I couldn't even express what was going on with me because it was too intimate. Because it was a male coach that I had. It was too intimate. I couldn't get vulnerable with them. Yeah. So I've created that space, but I get to have the conversations round about. People will come to me and they're like, oh, what, you know, it's this bit that I hate, and they'll always grab their belly. I'll be like, right, okay, that's food. You clean up your diet, that will start to go. But let's talk about how you're feeling about yourself. When's the last time you had sex with your partner? These things matter. They're important. Nobody's asking them, though. When's the last time you had sex with your partner? If they come in, they're all angry and resentful about their partner. They don't like it a lot of the time. And actually, Shampooch Shannon, that was on a couple of weeks ago, on Gemma's podcast, she said to me that I've helped her so much in the last year. Said I've not always liked you when I've came to PT, but I love how much you've made me grow because you challenge me all the time. I'll ask my clients the questions that nobody's asking them. And sometimes, you know what, I can come across as pushy, but it's out of love. Because I have been that person that has been challenged so much in my life, and I see how much it's made me grow. Getting challenged.
I think if you don't hate your PT at one point in your journey, then there's something definitely wrong there. Because they're there to push you and to make you a better person, and that's exactly what you're doing. Yes. And obviously it's working because somebody's just told you. There's times where I don't like you. Yeah. So it's obviously working, and what you're doing is great. I think what I would like to do is dig into the kind of services and things that you offer. Okay. Because I think for somebody listening, like how they would, or the sort of things, if obviously, hopefully listening to you, they're already motivated. Yeah. But some of these services may actually suit them. Yeah. So do you want to even discuss what you kind of do? I know you say you've got your fingers in a lot of pies. So
you know, I'll try and be brief, right? I'll try and round it off. Now, my services, if you go on my page, I still offer one-to-one coaching. Now, there's coaches out there that bash, you know, and I'm not the type of coach that bashes, but they're like, one-to-one PT instead. It's not for me.
Oh, did they say that?
100%. Yeah, you get the coaches that like to, you know, pick on what other coaches are doing, and I ain't about that game. I'm about lifting people up, man. There's still women out there that want one-to-one. And so I do one-to-one coaching, and you come to me twice a week. what I have found through the years, anybody that does one a week ain't interested. They're not committed. They half-arse it.
It's just that.
So my premium package for 1-to-1 is you can only come to me if you're willing to train twice a week for 12 weeks, and it's a commitment. So if you commit to yourself for the 12 weeks to a week, I'll work with you. And you get the studio to yourself. It's me and you. I'm child friendly. So majority of my clients are postnatal mums.
Right, okay.
So they bring the babies. And I love it. I love it. I don't have children, but I love it when the kids come to the studio, because I just met one of my old clients in the park today, and she's now a friend, Ashley. She's a yoga teacher, by the way. Mums only. Anyway, and her wee daughter's running towards me going, April! Oh. She noticed my car, the wee one, and then noticed me and the dog and was running straight for me. So the relationships I get to build with people.
I was going to say the rapport and stuff like that. Like you're seeing people's lives dramatically change as well. Like you are becoming a big part of their life. Yes.
So the 1-to-1 service, I still enjoy it, and it is still my business is doing well with it. So don't believe everything that you hear on Instagram.
Don't believe the hype.
Don't believe it. You know, listen, a lot of coaches, I like group coaching. It's cheaper for the client. I offer group coaching. That's my next service. It's cheaper for the client, and the PT makes more money per hour. I get that gig. But see, my 1-to-1s, that's when the connections, and the relationships for me, and I help to have that imprint in somebody's life. See, when my 1-to-1 clients go into group, the one thing they'll always say to me is, I miss our chats. So, it works.
How do you get that personal? I mean, how do you...
In the group, you can't.
I was going to say, because you're not going to be able to dedicate the time to dealing with them. No, I like the idea of it, a group, as long as you... Maybe if you're aware of who the people are, like say you're signing up with friends and stuff, that's great. Everybody's obviously motivating each other to do it as such. But when you get that 1-to-1 session, you're maybe getting the things that maybe are getting missed in the group sessions as well. Like, because then it becomes kind of like a. And I'm not saying this about yours, like, and I'm not saying it because I obviously don't know what your studio setup is kind of like, but it then becomes like a, what would you call it? Like a...
They're turning them in. It's like numbers, just want the numbers in to make the highest amount of money. That's, to me, would I like group coaching to be busier? Of course I would. Who wouldn't, right?
Yep.
But see, when I look at my girls that went from 1-to-1 into the group, I even miss the intimacy of the relationship that I have with them, and they don't stay in group for long because they just feel like, you know, you've got that many people in a room that the things that we were personally maybe working on, you know, cheap isn't always better.
100%.
People will often be like, oh, that's a cheaper price point, let's go for that. You're doing yourself a disservice. And I always say to people, be careful with what you choose. Choose what you need. It's not the financial aspect of things. Be true to yourself, because if you go into the group, you do that for 2 months and you end up reversing what we had already started, you're actually out more money.
There you go. I mean, it's just amazing. You put it in that kind of perspective.
Yeah.
Like, so just something that's obviously kind of coming to the top of my head. Like, somebody obviously then signs up with the coaching and the 1-to-1s with you and stuff like that as well. Do they have to pay a membership for the gym as such? Like, do you have memberships for your gym that people can just use it? No,
I don't. So the way that my studio is it's by appointment only.
Right, okay.
So you either sign up and you come for the 12-week glow-up 1-to-1, and you get 2 slots in my diary every single week. They can be alternated. I mean, I've got doctors and nurses that alternate like their days and times every week round about their shifts, or you can keep same day, same time for 12 weeks. But the membership, because of I'm in such a secure building as well, I don't want my studio to be used for that.
Where is your studio, if you don't mind?
I'm in Paisley. So I'm in the Anchor 1 building. It's stunning. My building is stunning.
Is that the one?
It's right in the water. In the waterfall.
Yes. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's such a vibe. As soon as you walk in, big massive bay windows, so much light. It's girly. It's black, white and pink, and there's plants everywhere. And then I've got loads of affirmations all over the walls, like, you are enough. You're beautiful.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I've seen as well, like a couple of wee clips of your wee dog likes to have a wee run around the gym as well.
Yeah, she's my baby. She comes to work with me.
For any dog lovers, there you
She
go. You might get to meet April's dog.
She's so. Do you know what? She's such a wee bundle of joy. All my clients love her. Like, she runs to the door, does like a couple of spinnies, and she's like, "Say hi," and you say hi to her, and then she just snoozes when you're working out.
That must get people motivated at the start as well, because their emotions and that'll be already kind of heightened.
She, the wee supervisor, she's like the warm welcome that you get. She's amazing.
She's just making sure everybody's doing their job right.
Yeah.
Make sure, like, hey.
Oh, she watches right over us all. She's amazing.
No half-assing. Like, I want to see you doing get the splits done right, whatever it's called.
Like mother, like daughter.
Oh, fantastic. So, just touch on, obviously, like, what makes you so different? Like, what do you think makes you so different at your gym? Because obviously there is a lot of like kind of female PTs and stuff, and a lot of these kind of studios and things popped up. What makes you think yours is so different? Now, I know I've seen it, so I know what your studio looks like.
Yep.
As I say, I've not been in it, but I know from your videos and things like that, and your client, obviously the reports and stuff.
Yep.
It's absolutely outstanding.
Yep. But
I'm just like, in your eyes, what do you think it makes? Like, what does it make? Oh my God, what's going on with me? I'm having like a stutter moment here.
That's all right.
What do you think it makes it so different?
I emotionally connect with them.
Right.
You know, because I've been the client. I know how they feel. I know what they want. I've been through the journey, and I truly do believe that my purpose is to pass that on. So having like I said, the deep, intimate conversations with people and training them and weightlifting them and taking them out on retreats and getting them in cold water and, you know, really pushing these females past their limiting beliefs. The limiting beliefs, I tap into it all. And people will say, do you not have people working for you? And, you know, I've rented my studio out a few times to a few girls, and I'm like, nah, it's just isn't it. I'm not in this for the money. I'll see PTs all the time, like, oh, you're only making $5,000, sign up to me and you'll make 10, you'll make 15. It's not a numbers game for me. It's not a numbers game.
I've always wondered that, because I was wondering if you had any staff. Is it just all you? That whole
It's
service
all me.
is wow.
All me. And people come to me for me. I'm very aware of that. That can be exhausting at times as well, because listen, I'm a human, and that's why I say that I always try and portray like kind of where I'm at in my life as well. I've had real struggles in life, times where I thought I couldn't continue, didn't want to do it, wanted to give my business up, it was too hard, financial difficulties, like I've nearly gave up, you know, nearly tapped out several times, and I'm like, I just keep going. Remember your purpose, keep going, remember your purpose, and some days it's dark and it's lonely, and there's days where I'm flying and my spirit's topped up and I can see my purpose, but seeing the days that I don't, I need to phone my friends that will remind me, and the people that have maybe been with me in my struggles.
Do you think that's what keeps you motivated then?
My struggles?
Just everything, your friends, everything that goes on, and your desire, you know what I mean, to create this. Like, I know you've talked about obviously empowering women and things like that, but like, when you dig deeper, like, what is it that keeps you motivated? Is it all these sort of things?
I would say what keeps me motivated is I never ever forget where I came from. Ever. Like, I was low, you know, didn't want to be here anymore. It was only the 2nd of July last year that I was tapping out.
Wow.
Tapping out. Not just with business, life. Didn't want to live, didn't want to continue, didn't want to do it. And I had to reach out and ask for help. Don't touch alcohol anymore, teetotal, 16 months, my journey continues, and I help other girls.
Congratulations.
Stay clean and sober.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a. Do you feel like you get a lot of people with that kind of similar issues? Obviously, when it comes to like alcohol and obviously maybe people using drugs and things like that as well. Do you tend to find a lot of people would come thinking that, listen, this might actually help me change who I am?
What I've now recognised is I was hiding in the gym for a long time. When I went there at 25, I was hiding in the gym, petrified of, I knew where my party lifestyle took me, and I was trying to save myself through a gym. Now I know the gym was never going to just save me. So I think all these other tools that I've now picked up over the years that have helped me with my mindset and how I feel about myself, and that's why I dig so deep into how people feel. Because if you can get to the bottom of that, the body comes if you put the hard work in, right? But your body won't follow if your mindset isn't right. So when you start to untangle how people feel about themselves, what's their self-esteem like, why are they using drinking drugs at the weekend, why are they in self-destruct mode, there's always people in pain. Yeah. I see the gym as just a big room full of people in pain. Because I was one of those girls, still can be. But I've got coping mechanisms now. I've got friends that I reach out to. I've got outlets. I've found my outlets and what works for me and what keeps me on a good path. But that's why I constantly just try and be as authentic as I can be on social media, so people don't go, oh, she lives a perfect life. Because see, when I said I wanted to tap out 2nd of July last year, looking on my social media, you'd have never known. Biggest smile, nice big white teeth, you know, people be like, look at her, you know, a nice big car,
living the life I want.
Gym, oh, she looks like she's doing well. I was dead inside, totally dead inside, and I didn't know how to ask for help. So I get so many girls coming to my gym like me.
So do you feel like you've built up that kind of nice community of folk now in the gym?
Yeah, and see, even when girls come to me to build their confidence, to be shown how to be educated, and you know, I'm talking a lot about mental health, right, but I do actually educate people in you know, proper form, how to lift the weights.
It's such a big part now with fitness. Yeah. Like we've discussed it in here before, and like how fitness has such a big massive impact on your mental health.
Like I said, so many people are struggling and they think that that's their outlet and they think that's the only thing they need to do. I was so obsessed with my body, and I'm like, oh, if I got a good arse and good legs, then I'll be really accepted. But the problem was I hadn't really accepted myself. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It didn't matter how many people.
You've looked from the outside, 100%.
You're dressing up the shop window, you know, and the back shop's a mess. And I was good at doing that for years.
But I look at you now, and I'm just like, as I say, I would never have known that myself. Mm-hmm. And I just think how you must be in such a better place as well. Mm-hmm. Knowing that, I mean, as I say, I would never have thought that in a million years, that you were at that point in your life as well. And I'm glad that you're here, to be fair.
Thank you.
Really glad that you're here.
I am as well.
And I'm glad that you've got your support and you've put a hand out, and then there's people at the other side there that have came to be with you.
Yeah, and what's so beautiful about it now is because I've been able to, it was my pride and my ego that was stopping me from saying I'm struggling and I need help. That was stopping me, because I thought I'd built up this big persona of myself on social media, and it was all to do, see the materialistic things, like getting the bigger car, and I always wanted bigger and better, and what I had was never enough, and it nearly killed me, you know. So that's why I'm not in this for money. The girls that come to me and they come to the end of their journey and see some of the cards that have been written to me, I've still got them. You know, they mean the world to me. Some of the words that have been said to me from people leaving, and I know that I believe I'm doing God's work, for sure. And that's all right with me.
It's so nice to hear as well, and it's so refreshing to hear that you've had your own personal journey in that as well, and that you're again motivating these women as well. You know what I mean? It's not, as you say, social media
just
is having.
Men.
I know. No, listen.
Do you know what?
Do you know what? See when you put it like
it.
that though, I totally understand, and I totally get it. I would never know what exactly. I wouldn't even know what to say to women, because I've never lived the life of a woman. I wouldn't know what to say. You know what I mean? We've all. Not all, sorry, but we have partners, we have got girlfriends, we've got wives and stuff like that, right? But at the end of the day, you'll never know how they feel, because you're never in their shoes. You're not in their body. You never know. Like, I mean, especially when it comes down to like periods and stuff like that. Like, that's just something that we don't have to experience as a male. How the hell am I going to understand that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could read about it, but I'm like, physically, I'm never going to understand how that feels.
And I would say the biggest thing that happens for us is the mental, it's the psychological part that's such a struggle for us. Our self-esteem's low, we don't like ourselves, we'll look in the mirror and we'll be like, I look fat, you know, I don't like myself. You don't want your partner to come near you. You wear baggy clothes to the gym. Even I do that. I recognise that when I'm due that time of the month, I wear baggy shit, because I'm not feeling super confident. You know, I'm feeling a wee bit less than, and we're aggy and we're agitated and angry. It's horrible. And then we go back to being normal, and you're like tail between the legs, like, oh, sorry, babe. You know, my poor partner. Like, I went for the implant. I was natural for years, and I went on the implant, and we got together thinking I was doing the right thing. Oh my God, I was like Fiona for Shrek. I was mental. I was off my nut. I was mental.
Anybody use that as an example?
I was like Princess Fiona.
Do you know the thing is, Shrek's my favourite movie, so yeah. I'm so glad you've used that as a reference.
But do you know what? It's like, it's those things that, and we can't as women as well, expect men to understand.
Yeah.
Talk to the people that do. That's something I'm getting better at. Stop speaking to your partner about things that he'll never ever get, because then you'll be disappointed because you'll get expectation. The guys just don't get it, and it's not their fault. They're not female.
Yeah.
And vice versa.
The worst part for me would be pretending that I would know everything about it as well, because I feel like that would just infuriate whoever I'm obviously discussing as well. Like, there's just some things you'll never know, and that's absolutely fine again. But be mindful who you're speaking to and how you're treating people as well. And that's I'm talking about the men. I'm not really talking about the women here, because they deserve to be looked after and taken care of.
Oh, see. It's not men like you.
Well
done for that. Well done.
It's not just because the camera's on. I'm not joking. I'm really joking. But as I say, it's because obviously, as I say, it was a female-led gym and why it was only female and stuff like that. But I've never think about having the conversations as such. I think every PT I've had has been male. And I've had a male to male. Males interact with each other differently as well, and they won't open up and they won't talk about their feelings and stuff like that until it gets to a boiling point, and then that's it. Been through it. I've got a t-shirt, I've been there, done that, but women are so much more open, and how would I expect them to have an open conversation like that with me when we don't have a relationship like that, and they're not living the same life, not the same life, but they're not living the same things that are happening to me. So I'm so glad that you've actually mentioned that, and I hope that inspires women listening to this to think that they do have a friendly ear that will listen, and obviously hopefully make you feel better. Yeah, as well. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a therapy session, but it's not. I mean, at the end of the day, we're getting you to regain your fitness.
Yeah, so. Definitely. It's all about regaining your strength physically, but and emotionally as well, because they come hand in hand. And that's not to say that every female that trains with a male is going to feel how I do. I just know myself. And you know what? I try my very best not to work against myself. I know I'm quite fragile. You know, I can be sensitive when it comes to certain things, and a male PT, I've tried it and I've tried it again. Doesn't work for me, and that's okay.
That's it.
That's okay.
It is okay. It is okay. Talk about the emotional kind of side of it and the mental health side of it. Yeah. You do a fantastic thing called the Wellness Retreat.
Oh, I do.
You do?
Yes.
And I've seen it advertised and it looks absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I wish there was things like this for males.
With my face, I'm like,
somebody's
yes.
listening to this. I would love for you to talk about that.
Okay.
Because I've heard, again, sorry Gemma, we're using you as an example. She said how amazing it is.
Yeah.
And she was in discussing it in our last podcast, the Hype Club, with Shampooch, if I'm right, sorry.
Shampooch,
They were discussing, because I think they've both been to it as well. Yeah. So it was nice to actually hear about it as well. Because I see it advertised, but it's nice to hear about it. So do you want to give us an idea of what that actually is and what it involves?
Yeah. So basically I have made up this retreat. I'm saying a retreat. Several retreats, and they're in different locations every time. So it means if you want to come to the next one, it's not going to be the same as the last one, right? So it's called Regain, Reset and Reconnect Retreats.
Love that.
Right? So what are you here to regain? Why have you came? We're going to do a big reset on your belief system and how you talk to yourself, and your internal dialogue, and the reconnect is, let's reconnect with ourselves. So I wrote my own wellness work booklet.
Amazing.
And got it printed so that when the girls come to the retreat, so we sit down and we get pen to paper. I tell them all to bring a pen, and what I'm trying to do with the girls is push them out their comfort zone. You'll hear a lot of people go, I can't do that. Oh, no, it's even like the cold water. So at the start of the retreat, I'll ask everybody, we do a wee bit of talking time at the start, and we do a wee circle and we go round, and I'm just like, why are you here? Introduce yourself, like what you here for. And it's beautiful. People will be like, I'm here because, I've got 3 kids and I get no time to myself. I work full time. I've got a husband, and today's a wee bit of me time. You'll get girls that are sitting there and they're like, I'm a young business owner. I stay on my own and I feel quite lonely and isolated. just a full group of women, and the age range is between 18 and 52. So it doesn't matter what age you are, you know. Everybody's sitting around in these circles talking about their emotions, their feelings, and why they're there. And it's just a vulnerable, safe space. So I ask the questions again that nobody's really asking.
Yep.
It's probing. I let them know that, listen, there might be some tears today. Give the person a bit of space and let them heal. Let them feel their feelings. Don't need everybody jumping on top of them going, there, come here, and they don't need pity.
Sometimes that's the worst thing. You can do to
Pity.
somebody.
I hate it when people pity people. Oh, that's a shame for her. Eyes back on yourself.
Let them pick themselves up.
If they don't learn how to pick themselves up, then you're actually giving them a crutch.
Yep.
All the time. So we get out and we get into nature. I'm a massive believer in nature heals. Anytime I'm in nature, that's when my best thinking comes. And I truly believe it's not really me, it's thinking half the time, you know, things are just coming to me. So we get into nature and we do challenges. Throughout the nature walk, we do challenges, and it's on the limiting belief systems, that negative self-talk that goes on inside a lot of people's heads.
Yep.
We challenge that. And getting the pen to paper and them just having the community and a bit of time to themselves. The tears come, but there's a lot of laughter as well, and a lot of joy, and people passing each other their numbers. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
And then a bit of car sharing. We do a bit of car sharing, and Ashley Yoga Bellies, who was on my last retreat, she came on that with me, and she done a yoga session for the girls, and she's amazing. Pregnancy yoga, but she's now started just doing female only yogas as well up in Neilston. She's a great friend. She was a client. She's now became a great friend, and she did come and support me on my very first retreat there, and it was phenomenal. Just adding that in, the yoga, getting the body moving, bit of breath work, meditation, and then we talk about toolboxes like, what's life look like? How's your mornings? Do you rush out of bed, drag the weans out of bed, and pile them in and get them to school? And their stress response as soon as that alarm's going off, it's like right up here, stress response is hit, and they're like go 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 go, and it makes people's lives unmanageable. So we talk about how to make your life manageable, a little bit more peaceful, and in turn you become a better person. See, when you see somebody running about and they're angry, they're resentful, they're posting big mental quotes all over social media, I'm just like, that person's got something going on, haven't they? But you guess what? That used to be me. I can own that. That wee girl is angry and resentful. I used to do my digs on social media or big quotes because I didn't have the courage to say to the person, listen, can we have a chat?
Yeah.
Something's going on with me. That would be me. I don't do that anymore. And when I do see it, I see it for what it is. Somebody's got something going on. So we talk about like coping mechanisms with stress and anxiety, and I will all talk about like what's anger looking like, why is resentment coming up for you, and we'll talk about all these kind of taboo things that people aren't talking about.
Because each of them will have something so different as well. It'll not be the same thing they're angry about. It'll be something so different.
A prime example would be somebody getting all angry and agitated because of, one of the kids has made a mess in the kitchen. And it's not because of the kids has made a mess in the kitchen. They're indirectly saying to their partner, I don't feel like you help me enough. But they're going mental at the child. But really it's not. It's the mess that they want the partner to then help them with. But they direct it at the child. And the child actually was never the problem. It's because they can't actually communicate properly.
It is always the case, I know. It doesn't mean.
It's not.
I'm not joking.
It's actually not. And, communication is
key.
Communication's key. Is it a skill? Yes.
Yep.
Have I got better at it? Yes. Am I perfect at it? No. But I now really notice it's mad. Self-development's mad, because then you feel like you notice everyone's behaviour. I feel like I walk about sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, like as if everybody's like highlighters to me, like everybody's walking highlighters. I'm like, oh my God, I can notice, oh my God, she's like really jealous, and oh my God, she's resentful, she's angry, and this is based off of either seeing somebody in person or seeing somebody's social media. And I'm like, I wish I could switch my brain off sometimes. Get my eyes off. That's difficult.
Especially what you do, and you know what I mean, the fact that you do it, you know what I mean, you're empowering all these people and what you do and things like that, and then you end up seeing, I mean, I could imagine just you walking down, I mean, High Street or whatever up in Glasgow or whatever it is, and you're just like, oh my God, the amount of things you must think. You're like, and you're probably like, they're not noticing that.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about doing the retreats is you're getting coached, and what I do is I have a bit of one-to-one time with the girls if I can, if I've got the space to do so. I did do it on where I done a workshop. It was like a 2-hour workshop. It wasn't a full retreat, and I gave the girls a bit of one-to-one time with me about subjects that we're stuck on, because we were journaling, and we were journaling about their dream life and where did they see them. And some of the girls are like sitting there like they're a mama too, we've got a husband, and I'm like, what's your dream life look like? And they're like, I don't know. I've never been asked that. You know, it was a shame, but shame. No, I'll take that word out. It was actually beautiful to sit with them and tease it out of them.
Yeah.
I'll reword that. Didn't pity them. We sat and I would ask them what they liked, what set their spirit on fire. Is there something that they've always maybe wanted to create? But you know, the kids are never a hindrance, but they came along, and could you maybe work that into your life, because nobody wants to come into this world and just be a mother.
No, I think you're giving them respect that they deserve. They probably didn't realise that they've not been getting, or they've maybe not been given themselves. Yeah,
I'm a massive believer in, listen, I don't have children, right? So I'm not going to say I don't know how it feels. I don't, and I'm not going to pretend I do, because I think that would be disrespectful to mothers.
Yep. But
what I do feel is that every single human being, regardless of whether you've then birthed a child, ended up getting married, and the same for a husband or whatever, but I know I lean into females, that you still need to be fulfilled as a human being on your own to be happy. Mm-hmm. You can't get your happiness through a child. You can't get your happiness through a man. I've tried that so many times. Doesn't work. Because I was never liked myself inside. Yep. But when I did try and do that, get my happiness through others, I was still angry, still bitter, still resentful, still full of self-hatred. And that comes out. You can see it in people. You can see it how they act. You can see how they treat people. They're usually angry, aggressive, not nice people to be round about. It's because they're not in tune with who they are as a person on their own. They've either used a child or a partner or a job to fulfill it. And I can only say that because of I have been that woman. I used men to try and fulfill myself. I used job roles to try and fulfill myself. And I was always so lost inside. And I had to go inward with April. What was all this driving? What was all this pain? And I truly believe I just turned so much of my pain into my passion. That's really why I feel so strongly about what I'm doing.
It's so, honestly, it's genuinely so inspirational, and I could sit and listen to you all day. 100%. I could listen to every single word, and just everything that you're saying is so real. And I think there's a lot of people there that haven't taken that step backwards to evaluate themselves and actually find out, are you happy? Mm-hmm. Is there, you know, I mean, their self-worth and things like that as well, which is a big, massive thing. So I feel like somebody listening to this and they're clicked in and they're like, I really need to see April. I really need to get into Regain.
Yep.
How would they do that? How would they find you? What's your socials? How would somebody join the studio, the gym? How would they join it?
So the best way I would say is probably my Instagram. I'm really active on my Instagram, and it's where I do most of my posts, most of my reels, and my website link is on there as well. So Regain Studio _. And you will find all my services. So I've got a website, you click on that, so you can either fill in an inquiry form for my group coaching, my online coaching. I didn't talk about that, but I do online coaching, group coaching. The retreats that are coming up, you just slide me a wee DM and we can get you booked onto that. I don't have a website link for that yet. And a one-to-one inquiry form. So you just fill in the form. You tell me, there's questions on there for me to get to know you a little bit. And then I drop you a WhatsApp and we chat. We get to know each other. And we talk about what's going on with you and what would the best service be. It's not like a click and buy PT. Like, it's not quite...
You're not dealing with a robot at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's
dealing with April.
Aye, it's personal training at the end of the day, so it does take a wee bit of time, chatting through WhatsApp. Sometimes I'll send you a voice note or whatever, and then I'll say, listen, do you want to grab a call? Do you want to talk about it on the phone? And then we decide best course of action. So I've got the group coaching, I've got one-to-one coaching, and then the retreats. The retreats are great. Gets you meeting a big bunch of people, you know, that are living similar lives to yourself, connection, community. And I've got this big WhatsApp with all my retreat girls on it, and we like post motivational motivational videos for YouTube in there in the morning, like quotes for each other, meditations for each other. Like we totally G each other up. And if you join Regain, in terms of fitness, I've got a community group, so you post your food, you know, your progress pictures. There's a community sitting there waiting on you to pick you up and lift you up.
I love that. Honestly, it's so inspiring, and it's so motivational. And I genuinely kind of thank you enough for coming on the podcast as well. It's been absolutely amazing, and just amazing to hear your story and your journey and what you're doing for people. You know what I mean? It's not just, as you say, it's not business minded. You're not there to make a quick buck. You're there to change lives.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Do you know, I actually said that last New Year. I was having a wee bit of a blip, and before I went back into my studio after the New Year, somebody said to me, like, where are you heading with this? I went, do you know what? Got to change lives this year. And I kept affirming that to myself all the time. And I don't mean that it's not me physically that changes their life, but I am the light.
Yeah.
And I always affirm that to myself. Be the light in somebody's life. Be the lighthouse, man. Because it's dark out there.
You're guiding them on the journey.
So I do affirm that to myself. I didn't come in the game and be like, oh, I'd make 10 grand a month and sell these mad mental PT courses that everybody tries to sell. And
sometimes that puts me off, even with the like, as I said, like that's probably why I haven't touched a PT in so long. It's just, I feel like it is just a quick money game.
Yeah.
And I'm not slagging anybody. I'm not saying to anybody just in case anybody gets offended. I'm not doing that at all. But it's just my personal opinion when I look at it and I go, because I'm like, I really need to get back into some form of fitness and something. And I look at it and I go, there's just nobody there that I'm like, they suit me, or do they look as if they suit me as a person? But
I think that's a big thing. You need to be able to go, could I sit for a full hour one-to-one with that person? I've worked with coaches before where I'm just like, all he does is stand on his phone. Like, it pissed me off. My 2 phones are over on my window ledge playing the music, and I'm engaged with my clients full time. Only time I'll ever look at it is if my Apple Watch has ran out and I'm looking for the time. And I always say to the girls, I need a clock in here. But I don't touch my phone because my girls' time is precious. They are coming to me as a service. And when people don't treat it like a service, it's frustrating. But there is amazing coaches out there. But there's a lot of smoke and mirrors where people just now are trying to portray that if you go on to online coaching, you'll make 10 grand a month. And listen, that might be your gig and you may be doing that. But for me, that doesn't fulfill me as a coach.
Yeah.
I need to be fulfilled in my job role. Sitting behind a laptop does not fulfill me. You know, buying a house abroad and kicking about with Rolexes on isn't my gig.
Do what works keep you happy for so long.
Materials, do you know what? It's only been my experience. I tried the material thing and I was in a bad place. And so now I see the truth and all of that for me.
No,
it's some people's gig, but
totally agree.
Most certainly ain't my gig.
It's not me neither. I've never really been like that. Got a nice watch. To be fair, I bought my 21st, but that's about it.
Listen, it's nice to have nice things
100%.
and it's nice to work hard for those things. But if I am going to start portraying that if you come and work with me and you'll end up with a Rolex and, you know, the yacht life, then I just think it's selling people up shit. Yeah, I'm going to stop now.
Listen, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, you've been absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see where your business goes. I think it'll grow from strength to strength as well, and highly recommend for those that are looking to get involved in the retreat to please do so. Again, follow April on all of our socials, Regain Studio. That's what the
Regain Studio _ my Instagram, and if you want to find me on Facebook, it's just April Hart.
There you go. So there you go. You can get in touch with April directly as well about getting part of the retreat and starting your journey today. That's the main step. Take the first step. You know what I mean? April's there to support you through the whole of it, and you'll be absolutely amazing at it as well. So
lean into your fears. That's what I always say.
There you go. Lean
into your fears.
And that is the quote of the day.
Yes.
Thank you so much, folks, for watching and listening. If you have been on YouTube and Spotify, you know what to do. You can like, subscribe, share away, because it massively pushes out April's business as well, and of course the other businesses that have been on this podcast as well. Just kind of thank you enough for giving your time up to come and chat with me.
Thank you.
Little old me. Thank you so much. No, honestly, you've been amazing, and hopefully not the last time we'll see you in the studio.
Definitely not.
Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks. Cheers. Bye bye.